We've got a bunch of odd jobs to do today to get this garden ready for winter. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the garden. I'm Ray, and thank you so much for tuning in to Horticulture Geek today. So today I have got several projects to work on, and I thought I'd bring you along to see what's going on, because a few of these things are going to be transformational in the garden for a few reasons. I am here, well, I'll just tell you, it's Halloween day when I'm filming this today, so you're going to see this in a few days. So I hope everybody had a happy Halloween. But today's also a full moon, which is a good planting day, and it's winter is fast approaching. We're getting some cold nights in the forecast coming up, so I've got to get some stuff switched around. Now, if you're up north, this is probably way too late for you to switch stuff around, but I'm still at the tail end of a comfort zone to be able to do that here in Central Arkansas, Zone 7B. So I've got several things here that I have got to do today, and it's going to be kind of a shuffle. I have a red twig dogwood, which is right there. And the light's bad, you can hardly see it, but we'll get a close-up of it in a minute. And it is a beautiful plant. I love the plant. I love the red twigs. It's really showing out right now. It's got some beautiful red branches from the temperature changes that we've already had. I just don't like it where it's at. And there's one rule to a garden, and that is do what makes you happy. And what that means is if something doesn't make you happy, if you don't like it, get it out of the way. And while that is a beautiful red twig dogwood, I just chose the wrong plant for that space, because the red twig dogwood is more of a small shrub, and it's a very branchy, bushy shrub. And in my perennial border over here, everything is kind of uniform heights. And I've got very similar leaf foliage textures through the border. And in the summertime, it just kind of fades away and becomes a big blob. And that's not what I want. I want something with some interest. So I don't love it. It's just not working for me. So I'm gonna pull it out, and I'll pot it up in a plastic pot, and it will find a new home somewhere. Now, in its place there, if you've been with me for a while, you know at the gate to our backyard, the drive-through gate, I have two blue massive containers, two big blue urns that have plum trees planted in them. And unfortunately, I've reached the end of the road with those plum trees in those containers. They've just got to the point where they're not gonna grow anymore, they're not thriving anymore, and so it's not ideal for me to leave them in there. So one of them is considerably better sculpturally shaped than the other. So I'm going to bring that plum tree over and put it here. And that's going to do two things for me. One, it's going to give me a red foliage year round, so not just in the winter, which I think the red foliage will look good there. But two, since it's already tree formed, it's a plum tree, it's going to give me some height, and it's going to give me some sculptural interest in this section right here. So I'm going to exchange the blob of the dogwood for a more sculptural color plum tree there in that spot. I think it's going to look really good. The second plum tree is also going to get put in a plastic pot, and it's going to find a new home somewhere else outside of the garden. And in the place of the plum trees, I have two beautiful dwarf magnolias. So we're going to be putting some dwarf magnolias into those pots. I'm super excited. They are beautiful, and I've had a vision of magnolias in those pots flanking the gate for quite a while. And I've got some beautiful stuff to underplant those magnolias with. I've got some, and I'll show you all this in a minute, but I've got some pansies, I've got some carex grass, and I've got some cabbages and kales to do a real pretty display under those magnolias and around them for the winter. So I'm super excited about that. And then the other thing I'm going to hopefully get to today, is I've also got some Dwarf Nandinas in this perennial border as well. Now, those Dwarf Nandinas were here in this garden when we moved in. They were literally one of the only things here. When we moved in, before this was not even really a garden, they just kept it mulched, and there was a few dwarf Nandina bushes in there. There was a patch of irises and a couple of hostas. So I've just left the dwarf Nandinas there and built around them. But again, I have the same issue with those dwarf Nandinas that I am having with the dogwood. They branch out and they become these massive, scraggly blobs in the perennial border, but they don't really provide me any structure or interest. And I'm just not in love with them. I've never been in love with Nandinas, but they've worked up until now. So those are coming out, and I have got some arborvitas that are going in there. So I think that's gonna really bring me some good interest, because dwarf Nandinas are evergreen for me. I think they're evergreen for everybody, but they are definitely evergreen for me. So I didn't want to lose my winter interest there, or my bones of the garden. So I've got some green arborvitae, so that's going to give me a whole different structure level with, you know, the arborvitae conical shape. It's going to give me a deep green color all year long, and it's also going to bring that height back up for me, so that my perennial border is really going to start to have different levels and shapes and colors and textures. And that's really the goal of a good perennial border, is you want color, shape, texture, size, right? Just a big bramble of beautiful things. And so, and I love my perennial border the way it has been, but I'm ready. I'm at that stage where I need to start amping up my game and taking it to the next level. So that is the list of projects that we are going to hopefully accomplish today and this evening. Trick-or-treating's got to happen in there somewhere with the kiddos. So we're just going to get at it. I'm going to flip the camera around. We'll take a close-up of these plants, and then I'm going to start digging and moving plants. So here we go. Okay, the lighting is a little terrible. You can see my shadow. Hey, but so here it is. So here is the red twig dogwood. So it is started to drop its leaves, but you've got those branches. So again, it's a beautiful plant. And I'm noticing I've got some scale on it, so I'll have to deal with that. But anyway, I'm digging it out. It's going to find the new home. And you can kind of see it's just filling up this, it's just making a blob right here. And it's too close to this Nandina, which is just a blob. And so that's why I really want that arborvitae here to go upwards, be more conical shaped, and it will open up some ground here for some of my perennials and stuff to spread out. And then we'll just kind of walk down the perennial border here. Sorry guys, I have not raked leaves and pine needles yet, because it's really no point. There's still too much falling. So the garden is a little messy. Got some Gara here that's just about wrapped up. It's ready to be pruned back. The firecracker plant is still growing strong. Bees are still everywhere. The salvia is still going. There's a honeybee on that salvia right there. I did a posting about this the other day, but the grapevine hyacinth is just going nuts. Covered, absolutely covered in blooms, looking great. And that brings us over here. I've got some pineapple sage in bloom with this salvia, so it's looking beautiful. And then here is my other dwarf Nandina that I've got to get out of here. And then this probably won't happen today. I just don't have enough time. But it is also time for me to take the Sweet Autumn Clematis, and it will be completely chopped down to the ground. But that'll be a different video. All right. So there's still some pretty things in the border. Oh, look at this pink dahlia. Isn't that pretty? Let's see. And I've got some other dahlias. There's one fixing to open up right there. And then this is milkweed. So we've still got some pretty stuff going on out here. Alrighty, so it is the next day, and I have been working hard away in the garden, and I did not get the arborvitas planted yesterday. But we had a really good friend come over, and she had a great idea. Why not leave those out and use them in the front pots at the front door for Christmas. So perfect idea. So I'm not stressing out over those arborvitaes. So I'm gonna put those in pots for the winter and get those fixed up for Christmas here in just a little bit. But everything else I got done. So let's turn the camera around and we will show you what we did. Here we go. All right, so here is the plum tree planted in its new home. And I did prune a few branches off of it. And then I did plant it a little high. I was afraid that it was going to get too much water in this spot since it's been used to living in a container with extremely well draining soil. So you'll experienced gardeners, you'll see that it looks like it's on a little mound. It's because I did plant it high. And that'll be okay. I mean, once this bed is mulched, you won't even be able to tell it, but it should hopefully make that tree happy. And plum trees have very vigorous root systems. So in no time at all, this should take off and be just fine. And then right here is the red twig dogwood. I got him dug up, obviously, since he's not right there where he was, and put into a pot. So he is just hanging out, waiting for a new home. And then let's walk over here and look at the Magnolia Pots, because that is the real deal of this video. I'm so excited about them. Let's go see. So here they are. The gate's open. Been working in the yard. Hadn't even got the tag out of the tree yet. I love these pots. I think they look fantastic. So you can see I put in an ornamental cabbage, some orange and white pansies, and the variegated carex grass to underplant the magnolias for the winter. The carex grass is perennial. It will stay. And in the spring, I'll just switch these annuals out for some spring and summer annual plants. And I did the exact same thing over here. So I've got an ornamental cabbage, orange and white pansies, and the variegated carex with the magnolia. So I love these pots. I think they look very good. All right, guys, that is the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe it inspired you to get out in your garden. If you've got some pots you're looking to fill up, hey, maybe you can consider the Little Gem Magnolia. Some of the dwarf magnolia varieties are absolutely beautiful. So like I've said, I'm excited about those pots. I love them. I think they're gonna be wonderful. I'm already just as thrilled as I can be with them. And I think this one plum tree is going to enjoy its new home. And I have already rehomed the other plum tree. I did forget to mention that, but he's already found a new home as well and is enjoying his new garden. So I hope you've enjoyed it. It's beautiful here today. I know some of you are already up north, especially, are in the grips of winter. But for those of us who are still lucky enough to be in a zone where we're not so super cold, I'm out here right now in shorts and a t-shirt. I'm just enjoying the garden. I've been out here piddling around for a couple hours, pruning things, pulling weeds, trimming back pots to put away for the winter. So it is just an absolute gorgeous day here in Arkansas, Zone 7B for me. And I hope it's a wonderful day wherever you are in the world watching this video today. If you've enjoyed this video, hey, give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or want to comment on anything. I would absolutely love to hear from you. And if for some reason you're not a follower of our Facebook page, hey, check that out too. It's the same name, Horticulture Geek, over on Facebook. And you can catch up with us over there as well. But I think that's all for me today here, guys. Be on the lookout for my next video. It'll be out in a few days. But until then, from my garden to yours, I wish you all the best and happy gardening.